is communication goes both ways. It's not just about talking and sending messages across, it's also about being able to receive them and to internalize them. There's a difference between listening and hearing. Hearing is just the act of letting sound get into your ear, right? It doesn't require a lot of conscious thought or effort. Listening, on the other hand, is what requires that conscious thought, that effort, that focus, the time, the attention. It's something that requires your awareness of really being involved and consuming and absorbing the information. Whereas again, hearing is just kind of like you could be doing whatever and the noise is just going into your ear. So you want to make sure that when you are listening, you are actually listening. You're not just letting the noise go into your ear. Listening today is also considered a little bit of a lost art because we're constantly multitasking. We're constantly distracted, right? I mean, how many times have you gone to a dinner or how many times have you gone to a meeting where somebody's just kind of like, yeah, sure. Right? You can just tell that they are mentally checked out, or they're typing something, they're doing emails while you're trying to present. It's kind of annoying and it's a little bit irritating. And it's even worse when they put the phone out just so you can see it, and every time it vibrates and every time somebody gets an email, you see it light up. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking, am I worth the attention of that phone? Is he going to get that email? Is she going to pick up that call? So we're constantly distracted and we're getting notifications on Slack and on email and text messages and just being bombarded all the time. So that's why listening today is considered a little bit of a lost art, but hopefully after watching this video, we're going to bring that lost art back. Today, many successful organizations actually have a very strong culture of listening. Lee Iacocca, the former CEO of Chrysler, said that listening could make the difference between a mediocre company and a great company. That's pretty powerful, right? I mean, the difference between a mediocre company and a great company simply by listening. The CEO of Amgen, Kevin Scherer, actually had a strong epiphany when it comes to listening comprehension. And he realized that when you are actually paying attention to somebody, when you're actually comprehending what somebody is saying and being present in that moment, that is the greatest sign of respect that you can give somebody. With that change, with that understanding, he became a little bit more relaxed in some of the things that he was doing. He became more open to new ideas. He became more present in conversations that he was having. And he realized that he was really able to listen and take things in a more meaningful way, and as a result, make better and more effective decisions. So why does listening actually matter? If you have children, you know you're always trying to get them to listen to you. Sometimes you're even talking to your friends and you might say, hey, are you even listening to anything that I'm saying? All right, I'll admit, my wife has said that to me occasionally, and you know what that's like if you're in a relationship or you have a spouse or a significant other. It's hard. Sometimes just being able to give that time and attention is hard. So aside from listening just being a good thing to do, because when somebody's not listening, it's very frustrating, listening also impacts productivity, it impacts your engagement, it impacts your ability to actually do good work. Consider some of the following statistics. On the average day, we spend around 70 to 80% of our day communicating in some form. We hear around 20,000 to 30,000 words every single day. That is basically half a book, assuming that a book is 60,000 words. You're basically consuming half a book every day just through different communication channels. And let's be honest, in some organizations, that's probably more like 5 or 10 books. Although that seems like a lot of information, most people on average only remember between 17 to 25% of the information. It's a minuscule number. So from everything that you're told, from all the information that you consume, you remember about this much. That's nothing. Research also found that the top 5% of listeners build people's self-esteem, have cooperative relationships, and provide good feedback. These are all admirable and very desirable qualities that we look for in existing and future leaders. And funny enough, most people actually believe that they are an above average listener, but research shows that that is just a myth. And I get it, right? I mean, let's be honest, listening is hard, right? I mean, it's hard to take time away from the computer. It's hard to put your phone away. It's hard to not be distracted. It's sort of like you have this itch where your hand just wants to grab a phone or type that email, right? You have smartwatches now where you just kind of want to check what's going on. it's very hard for us to get distracted, especially by technology, because we live now in a world where we assume that just because you are connected to something means that you always have to be available to something or someone. And the reality is that pretty much everybody multitasks. I multitask all the time, as do you. We all multitask. We are living in a world of multitaskers. But what the research shows us is that only 2% of people are able to multitask well. And there's also a lot of time that goes into switching tasks. Right? By the time you switch from one task to another task, you lose that bit of comprehension, you lose that bit of time, and it also takes time to get back into the flow every time you switch tasks. There are a couple basics of active listening that we should practice, and I know you've probably heard a lot of these things before, but if everybody practiced listening, then the numbers on listening wouldn't be as bad as they are now. So I'm just going to go through these, and hopefully this will be a little bit of a refresher from what your mom taught you when you were just a wee little baby. The first component of active listening, the very basic, don't interrupt. Why is this still so hard for people to do inside of organizations, or even in our personal lives for that matter? You're in the middle of having a conversation with somebody, they butt in and they jump in and decide to share their story. Or maybe they just talk over you, right? That's even worse. So don't interrupt. Pay attention. Focus your eyes on the person. Don't let your eyes wander off. If you're in a conversation with somebody and somebody's just kind of like, yep, sure. Not a good sign, right? You don't want to be doing that to people, especially inside of your organization with your peers, or even forbid with your managers, because then it's really going to get bad. So again, pay attention, right? Give that attention. Don't be distracted. Don't be multitasking. And also just focus on not interrupting, right? Whenever you want to interrupt and whenever you want to say something, just take a deep breath. Maybe you count to 3 and let the other person continue. There's also a saying that says, we soak things in by listening, but we internalize them when we recite them. So another good component of active listening, ask questions. Maybe you summarize some of the things that you've heard. Let the other person know that you're not just listening, that you are actually internalizing the things that you are being told. And another simple component of basic active listening is just body language. It's just how you stand, right? I mean, if you're in a conversation with somebody and I'm kind of just like, looking like this, you probably don't get the sense that I'm paying attention to you or that I'm listening to you. But if I stand up straight, I have that posture, I'm looking at you, now all of a sudden it's a very different type of conversation. You can get the sense that I'm focused on you and I'm paying attention on you. And I'm not holding my phone in my hand. I'm not looking at my smartwatch. I'm not typing something up on the computer. I'm giving you my divided time and attention. There's actually a really great quote from Peter Drucker that I love. And he said that the most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. So part of being a good communicator, part of being a good listener is also understanding what isn't said. Just something to think about as you begin to practice active listening inside of your company. Athena and I hope you enjoyed that. If you want more content like that, check out futureofworkpodcast.com. And do me a favor, please review the podcast on Apple Podcasts or whatever your preferred channel is. Thank you very much.